about learning styles, our different learning styles. And actually, Dr. Karyn Gordon, who is here right now, give her a big hand, gave me a bit of a test to figure out what my learning style is.
Yep.
And man, did we get response from that. Tons of emails for you, tons of tweets on my Twitter account, the CityLine CA Twitter account, our Facebook. People want to know, they want to be armed and empowered with the information to know what to do based on what your learning style is. So for adults or kids, a lot of parents wanted to know on behalf of their kids so they could help them out. So just in terms of emails you got, you outlined a couple of them. One from a parent wanting more help. Last month, my son, who's in 3rd grade, came home with a letter from his teacher. The teacher said that he needs to be in an individual education plan. She disagrees. She saw the show and instantly thought, oh my goodness, what if he just has a different learning style? How can I figure out what to do? And the second one, I was watching CityLine yesterday on learning styles, and that most people are visual and kinesthetic, and some are auditory. I tutor in schools on a volunteer basis and was helping 3 students with French. I decided to incorporate all 3 learning styles with major results. It went really well.
That's what happens. So honestly, that's what happens. It literally changes the engagement level of kids in school.
Yes.
And you know, one of the things I really want to say, and I was inundated with emails after that show. Literally, I mean, since working here on CityLine, that is the most popular show in terms of emails that I actually got afterwards.
I get it.
Yeah, and I think it just really resonates. A lot of us kind of get it. And one of the things I want to say around the educational system, I do training in this topic in school boards across the country. I'm constantly speaking in schools on this topic. We need to partner with our educational system. I don't want it to be either or, and I really want to, I work very closely with a lot of teachers. They're working really, really hard, and sometimes they just don't know either, right? So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I think we have to be collaborative. We can't be, we can't have kind of a critical thinking towards teachers. So I think that's really, really important when we're actually, because that was a lot of the emails that I got where parents were like, well, our teachers don't know this. And like, well, let's work with them.
Yeah, they're trying, and they're working
very hard
of their curriculum as well.
Absolutely.
So it does have to be a conversation.
It needs to be a conversation,
and
it's just about empowering us in terms of the tools.
Let's talk about kinesthetic learners, and let's talk about what we need to do to help them to learn.
Okay, so I wish there were cameras in our home last night, because this was not planned, but this is exactly what happened in our home. Was a perfect example around how this actually happens in real life. So Brent is doing some training on some new technology in our office. He's trying to teach me on this technology. My husband is off the charts auditory. I'm extremely kinesthetic and visual. So he had, you know, ahead of time, he had actually done up all the notes. He'd done it in charts, color-coded, really trying to speak my language. And he's telling it to me, and I'm like, okay, that's great. I need to type it. I need to do it. He's like, honey, you don't need to do it because it's right here. I'm like, honey, I need to do it. He goes, but it's right here. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Okay, do you want me to get out my CityLine notes? I'm talking on CityLine tomorrow around this actually topic. And the whole idea is that kinesthetic students and people, we need to do it. If we're just actually seeing something is actually not going to be good enough. So we actually have, so I was literally retyping out the things that he actually had.
Okay.
It's very important that they actually, that's actually how they actually learn. They need to be doing it. That's how they learn. So a kinesthetic person, they need to do it. Anything that uses their hands, it could be role playing. Fantastic in terms of role playing. Experiments are actually fantastic. When we actually do events at our office for Dare to Dream, we actually get kids to actually divide them up into the different groups and think about different, you know, for kinesthetic kids, what do they actually like? Anything that involves actually their hands. They have to be using actually their hands. And for a teaching perspective, which is really interesting, they love it when teachers walk around. So they don't want anything kind of static. Yeah, that you actually talked about.
That helps them.
That actually helps them, yes.
Okay. The other thing is doodling. So if a kinesthetic learner might doodle, and it doesn't mean they are not paying attention.
It actually means they are paying attention. It's completely misunderstood. So a lot of times parents will see it like, stop doodling it. But it's important that they actually kind of keep doing it.
Yeah, don't you guys just want to go back to your high school teachers now and say, see, I was learning the whole time and I got in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the kinesthetic learners. Let's go to visual for a bit now. So visual learning, they need to see.
They need to see it. So you can still talk, but when you're talking, you want to actually use visual language.
Okay.
So you want to use metaphors. Storytelling is fantastic. If you're just talking about words, it will kind of lose. You can literally see people disengage. If you actually talk about a story, they kind of engage. So you've got to make sure you tell stories, metaphors. In terms of something written, charts are great. Highlighting is actually great. Chalkboards is one of my favorite strategies. I recommend all kids, if you've got a kid who is actually visual, go to your painting store, your Home Depot, spend $10 on paint, and actually paint one in the entire walls in their bedroom, chalkboard. and actually let them do actually their homework on that chalkboard. And they can actually do their math and their French. It's just really exciting. It's interesting. So now you're kinesthetic, but it's actually visual.
Got it.
So you're kind of breaking outside of this little, this idea that you have to kind of like look at your notes and study, like break out of that. And you'll actually find an engagement level actually highly increases.
Okay, so this is for parents at home. You're saying the pictures, the chalkboard plate and all of that, but it's for teachers. Moving around, using videos and charts, stories, examples, chalkboards, whiteboards, and PowerPoint. So
anything that's visual. Anything you can actually look at it, you can see it.
And use descriptive words.
Descriptive words, metaphors, and acronyms are great. So acronyms in terms of helping kids to actually memorize. I actually love doing that when I'm actually working with kids in our office. If I'm like, okay, what are the 10 things you have to memorize? Let's figure out an acronym. So I'll put it up on my chalkboard and we'll kind of move it around. And all of a sudden, engagement happens. And the cool thing about it is that when kids actually get it, they get excited about learning.
Right.
It really changed the engagement level. And so that's why when we got this feedback from teachers, and I get this all the time from teachers when I work with teachers, when they actually get it, all of a sudden kids get excited about learning, because when you're visual and kinesthetic, you think there's something wrong with you.
Right.
You're like, why am I not getting this information?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you give the kids tools and they're like, gosh, they're excited about learning. And I think that's our greatest gift, and our goal is to help kids love to learn.
Now, the auditory learners usually have a fairly easy time in school because a lot of the education system in Canada is geared towards auditory
learners, and really North America.
In North America.
It really is North America. So if you've got a child who's auditory, the thing you want to really work with them is on self-discipline.
Yeah.
Because they can coast through school with pretty decent marks without really trying anything.
Yeah.
So on a piece of paper, they look good. I call it coasting and crashing, because what happens is that they don't really learn how to develop good study habits. They go off to university because their marks are good, but they don't have the study habits, organization, time management, and they actually crash.
Got it.
So it's very important that they actually, if you've got a child who's auditory, that they're teaching self-discipline, time management, organization.
Yeah, okay. We are obviously going to put all this information on our website because we know that the people want it. So all of the notes on learning styles, even the tests that you can do to figure out what learning style you are, let's find a way to make a link to the other episode where you gave me that test, because that's a good one. I've done it on everyone in my house.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool. How you can help your child, that's all on our website, cityline.ca. Thank you, Dr. Karyn Gordon. Let's go to break.